All right, wonderful. Okay. Right, there's Dr. Brown. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Amelia Whalen. I'm the wellness coordinator at Los Lomas High School. Thank you all so much for being here for our first evening for our Wellness Parent Education Series for the 2022-2023 school year. Tonight, we are very excited to have Dr. Roxanne Brown from Counseling Opportunities and Parent Education, which is a really wonderful nonprofit. We're very fortunate to have it within our community, supporting kids and their families. She will be presenting on teenage survival skills. It is the first of 3 presentations we will have with COPE during this series, and we'll have others with other nonprofit organizations and speakers as well. But thank you so much for being here, Dr. Brown.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Excellent. All right. Well, could I ask who's my audience? It seems like it's administration.
Excuse me.
So is my audience, do I have parents? Is it admin?
So you have parents from our high school district and also elementary school and middle school districts.
Okay, because I only see 2 faces. Should I change my view?
Oh, no, it's a webinar, so you don't see them. You'll just see me.
Oh, okay, wonderful. All righty. Well, good evening to everyone. I am Dr. Roxanne, and I work with COPE. We're an organization who provides services to parents regarding strategies on how just to become just stronger. So the way I typically run a seminar or a webinar is that I share a PowerPoint, and I'd like to go in and out. But I'm kind of new to the webinar format. So I'll just go through the PowerPoint and we'll just see how that works out. So I'll go ahead and just start off by sharing my screen with everyone. And of course, if I say I'm sharing and you don't see anything, please let me know. All righty. All right, so I'm assuming you can definitely see my screen. Okay. So this evening, our topic is teen survival kit. But it's going to work like this. It's going to work with parents basically just partnering with their teens. I'd like to first start off by exactly telling you what we do and our frame. Our frame is basically from the perspective of just being extremely positive. So our approach involves 3 steps. And for us, it's about really helping teens and children develop in a way so that they are really able to manage their own behavior in extremely constructive and non-harmful ways. The second part of our approach is to really help parents develop some very positive communication skills that allows their interaction with their children to be positive. The third part of our approach is to really help teenagers really feel good about themselves. It's so much that's going on, and our teens are just bombarded with things. So our job is just to help them develop some skills that can help them feel really positive. This evening, we're going to work from some toolkits, and we have 4. I'm not sure if we will hit all of them, but we have 4. Our first toolkit is going to focus on the idea of parents asking, what's your love language? We're going to get into that. The second toolkit will focus on what is the family environment. The third will focus on building relationships. 4, the idea of self-awareness. Then we'll do a summary, and then we'll do questions. I don't even think we're going to go through all of them, but we're going to give it a best shot. So, love. What does that really mean? If this was much more interactive, we go around and I just ask you, what does that mean to you? And what does it mean with your team? For Triple P and what we do, first, let's talk about the two types. One is going to be that like unconditional love. Okay. One is going to be conditional love. So that would mean for our teens, it's based on something that happens. We're going to give a lot of love when they're just like winning at a football game, when they're cheering, we're the best dancer. That requires a behavior. And sometimes we may find ourselves in that situation, not even knowing. So it's like, I love you, or I love you because you're just. What we always want to find ourselves doing is being in this unconditional. I love you when you just embarrassed me at school, but I still love you. But we're going to have to talk about this. I love you. You're pink and purple. Still love you. But maybe we could have a little discussion about that. So with the idea of love, I would like for you to ask yourself, what is your love language? For us, we frame it around a few points: praise, showing emotion, communication, active listening, and just staying calm. Let's kind of look at each of them. And you've heard these. This is nothing new to you as parents. But from the Triple P cope perspective, sometimes we put a little twist on it. So let's look at praise. When we talk about the idea of giving your teen praise, we would like for you to be a little bit descriptive. We don't really want to say like, oh my God, good job, bud. Sweetheart, you are just so wonderful. We prefer that you are very, very specific and descriptive. Carol, you aced that test. I know it's chemistry you did. Oh my gosh, you knew all. Specific. And you know what else I'd like you to do? Some eye contact. You're going to look at your beautiful daughter right in the eye. You're going to give some specific praise. And you know what? Call her name. Call her name. Be very, very specific and make some eye contact. With the little kids, we tell our parents, get down to their level. So with our teens, all of these things are sending messages. Maybe you might not think so, but you're sending a message of love. You're making that eye contact when you're talking to them. You're calling them by their name. And you have to be genuine. You're not going to walk around the house giving praise, but be very genuine, be very heart-filled. And that's just another way of connecting. And if you just did that, if things were sort of sour, just a little rough in the house, start off with just giving specific praise. And especially if you're wondering, like, how am I going to change some things around? Your number one strategy is praise. And just look for those opportunities because they're there. Just kind of look for those opportunities because they're right there. That truly demonstrates your love language. So that is one in this arena of how do you define and show your love? Now, the next one is, let me move this a bit. So this one is touch. Teens hate to be touched. Don't even dare try to give them a hug and like out by their school. Don't do it. But for those teens that are like that, there are so many other ways just to show some type of emotion. I always just use this one. This is my favorite one. Like the little bump. You know, they're walking out the door in the morning, things are hectic. You just like, bam, love you, see you in a few, bump. I've seen little kick. Whatever you do to establish with your teen in the morning, if you're there, you make that connection of like an emotional bond. That is all right, because guess what? I got you. Some type of connection. You've given them this praise. That's like, that's right there. You're leaving in the morning and it's just some type of communication, emotion. You pick them up from school or you something else. You text them. You know, you call, they're not picking up the phone. And then you're like, boy, when I call you, kids don't pick up the phone. Don't feel like you're being disrespected. That's just not how they connect with us. Send a text and just say, whatever your word is mama, love you, boy. Is mama, love you, sugar. Whatever it is, that's two connections. And you may say, she's not going to respond. My boy doesn't respond to that. It doesn't matter how they respond. It matters how you reach out and respond. That's two beautiful things to do. And we're just in our love language. We're just in our little first part in our toolkit. My teen is having some rough times, or even if they aren't, you are still building that up. You are still feeding them that love in all of your little ways, because the day may come when it might be rough. It be really rough, but you're going to have those strategies in the back of your mind, like, ooh, it's a little extra praise, some type of emotion, nothing that's going to embarrass them. You drop them off to school, probably not going to kiss them unless they go for that. But that's two things we have. I'm going to show them those emotions. Now, this is a biggie as adults. This one. Oops, where'd you go? Why can't I move you? Yeah, see that. Hold on, I may have to get out. Oh, okay, here we go. Communication. Parents, I'm guilty. We have to listen more because we have things to say. We have things to tell the teens. You know, we got to teach them. This is how my parents did it. We have to listen. We have to listen like 3 times as much as we speak with teens. We're listening and we're demonstrating that we're listening. We are not interrupting. No, we're not interrupting, and we're not trying to get our point across, because our point is the point. I need to teach you. We just have to listen. We may not even agree, but we're going to listen. And we're going to nod. We're going to, after they say what they're saying, we might have to paraphrase and say, oh, or summarize. Oh, I think you said. Very powerful. You're listening. You're validating your teen's thoughts. And then you have an opportunity to speak. Communicating. Spending a little time together. I'm not saying you have to go to the movies, because that's out. They don't want to go there with you. You may have to interject yourself in their doings in the home. And most kids are playing, they're gaming. They're just gaming. Grab a chair. Sit down for 5 minutes. and genuinely like, what's going on here? And you like it. That would really be surprising for you. You might like it, but sit and say, you're amazing at all of these things with your hands and your fingers. You are awesome at this. I was very specific and I gave some praise. Carol, that's another way to build some communication. You're going to listen more than you speak. You're going to spend time in a way that you're able to have a conversation. Something else, it is a part of communication. You're not going to just bum rush their room. We're not like going into people's rooms and invading their privacy. We're not like going into their rooms and we're not doing that. They're teens. They need their privacy. They need to feel that they're respected in that manner. And if there's a reason that you feel you cannot trust your teen, that calls for a family, like we're having a family meeting. For us, a family meeting is this. We got a problem here. You can't, I can't go in your room. I can't trust you. Oh, all right. We're going to have an agenda. Don't call it an agenda in front of the kids, but you're going to write down about 4 things that you might want to talk about. And one thing is, why can't mommy, go in your room, go in your door? Go in your room? What's going on? That's one thing. Maybe you'll have a couple of other things, but you sit as a family, designated time. Everyone's going to be there. Of course, you're going to have some rules. No cell phones. You can't just get up out the meeting because you're mad you didn't get your way. And everyone's going to stay until the meeting's over. That's a family meeting. And you talk about the issue. Your teen gets to say, you know what, you're doing too much, mother. You are always coming in my room. You don't even knock on the door. And then maybe you have a reason that you don't just knock on the door. Maybe you think something else is going on, but you talk about it. Sometimes with a teen and a mom or a dad, it can be like a little power struggle, but we can easily resolve that. Come together as a family. And as best as you can, it's like breaking bread together. Talk about the issues. And we'll go a little bit this way. If you have a family meeting the first time, the teens aren't going to say anything. They'll be sitting back, profiling. They won't say a word, but it's perfectly fine. That was just the first time. The next week, same time, same place, same rules, the things that we're going to discuss, because there are issues, do it again. And the more you do some things, it will definitely work itself out. And with a family meeting, your teens get to put something on the agenda. And it may not be something you really want to hear or discuss, but that's part of the breaking of bread and like being together. That will definitely help. And especially around issues of privacy with the bedroom. Now, a quick privacy issue with the phone. Many times, parents will use the phone as like a disciplinary tool. You don't do this, you don't do that. I get a call from school, you make a bad grade, I'm taking the phone. That's really one of the least effective ways to change a behavior in your children. That's really the least, and discipline means you want to teach your kids something. Just taking the phone away, that's not very effective. And I'm saying that because it won't change their behavior. You'll keep it for a week, 2 weeks, it's like, whoa, but it's not going to change their behavior. So taking things away and just like not respecting their little privacy, it just builds. Going back to love, Everything you do with your teens, you want to like build a relationship because it's hard. It's hard being a teen. I know it's hard for you, but right now we're talking about teens and what they can have in their toolkit, and that means you're helping them. Extremely difficult for our kids. Another thing, keep up with what they're doing. You know, like, what are they interested in? What are they doing? And it's difficult because we're working individuals, but really try to keep up with what they're doing. Like, what do they watch? What are they listening to? They're always, and just ask, inquire. All of that helps with improving the communication. This one I kind of talked already about, active listening. Active listening is, once again, you're not going to interrupt. You're going to actually say, yes, okay. Engage. We're not on a cell phone. We're not like trying to multitask in the kitchen, under the car. That's not active listening when your teens are speaking with you. Stop. You got all of me right now. I'm engaged and I'm not doing all the talking. This is what happens sometimes. Your teen will come to you and be like, wow, we went bowling and let me tell you what my score was. You know, it's the next thing we say, man, you. Nobody cares what you did when you were young, Dad. That's kids. I was sharing what I did. Oftentimes we take ourselves back to our teen years when our kid is sharing something about them. I think it's just a natural habit and we think we're doing a good thing. But if your kid is talking about him or her, validate it. Whoa. Without you feeling you have to interject what you did way when. No offense, but we're not really concerned about you at this point. We're about building up this kid, building him up, listening, validating. And with that, when you're having a discussion and a conversation and it might be a little tense, please try to stay away from you. You never clean up your room. You never take care of your chores. You just never. We could say, I would really feel better. I would really appreciate if you would do your chores, son. Talk to me about that. I wasn't, I didn't push to where we're having an argument and he has to defend. And I'm going to say, no, you didn't. No, you did not on Thursday. Back away. Because your goal is you want your kid to be responsible. You're going to have to teach responsibility. Kids don't understand responsibility. That's what chores and accountability, all these big words. And then sometimes we'll do, you need to be accountable to, accountability, I don't really think they understand. But if we break it down, we use I instead of you. You is fighting. You is threatening. You is like intimidating. But if you stop, you bring your voice down. Carol, I would really appreciate, or Carol, I need. Carol, sweetie, I need you to help me. Blank, 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 blank. So just the way we use our words and our language can help kind of bring things down, and again, can help us teach our teens. On the same level with the idea of kids doing their chores, sometimes we might even assume, okay, I'll give a good one. Johnny's chore on his chore chart, he has to clean the bathroom. Everybody knows how to clean a bathroom. Everybody, like everybody in America, when they're 15 years old. No, they don't. If you haven't, and not just showing them one time, this is an ongoing showing. You got to master that. That just doesn't come easy. So his chore on his chart is to clean the bathroom. That's just not going to happen to your satisfaction. Because when you clean it, you like take your finger, you put it around the tub and you're looking for scum. That's not happening with your teen. That is not going to happen. And then we go in and we're like, well, he did kind of clean. So with that, when you're giving your teen instructions, it's how we give instructions. When you're giving instructions on how to do a task, be mindful that you're probably talking to them like they're an expert already. They are not. So help them be successful. Maybe cleaning the bathroom at first might mean, I just want you to clean the tub. And if you put some water on the floor, clean it up. And that may sound like mundane, like that's very low expectations. No. I want my kid to be successful. I literally want my kid to be successful. So I'm gonna do like a few baby steps with the bathroom, because that's a big responsibility to clean the bathroom. Or to fold the clothes, put everything where it goes. It's a process. So sometimes we just assume, we make these assumptions that our kids understand our instructions. And most of the time, they don't. They're not being disobedient. They're not like walking around saying, I'm just really get on moms and dads' nerves today. No, you guys have beautiful children, beautiful teens. But sometimes when we do like the little toolkit, in their toolkit, we have to put, I'm going to really give some clear instructions. I'm actually going to help them understand what it is to be like accountable, because they don't know yet. They just don't know yet. We have to teach them. It's a lifelong thing. So the next time you give your teen some instructions on how to do something, even if they're 15, you may say, he is 15. Roxanne, he is 15. So dishes in the dishwasher and clean the. You got to teach, you got to show, you got to teach, you have to show, and you have to praise. So once I get that part down with all this praise, all this teaching, all these emotions, oh my gosh, look at you. Totally, you don't know how much I appreciate you. There's not. All that food was off those plates. Come on now. Got you. Let that go for a week or two. Do something else. It's really important. They have to be successful. All right. One more in this love language toolkit. Now, no one just decides they're going to like put their teen down. They're going to like use cuss words with them. That is not in our spirit. We're parents, we're loving, even when we're stressed. That's just not what we want to do. But it happens. But so we apologize. We're human. Stuff comes out and then we're like, whoa, I shouldn't have done that. So in the toolkit with love language and your teen, do the things that you already know how to do. First, apologize. Things get heated, teens can take us there. Just humble yourself. I apologize for being whatever. You know what? I take it back. I apologize. I slipped with my language. I know in our house we have a rule that we only use loving words, and that was not loving, hun. Forgive me, or however you do it. And all of those things are natural. They come across because as adults, we got stuff going on. Admit it, we got stuff, and then we have these teens, we have maybe a little baby. But when it comes up and you do something that might be demeaning to your teen, you have to figure out how to come back and make it better, because they will begin to resent you. And you'll wonder, why is he so stubborn? Why does she just doesn't. Oh, in her love language part of her toolkit, it might be some resentment. And they're already going through their stuff. Hormones, girlfriend, boyfriend, somebody called me something at school. That was a bullying comment. They got all of that. So just, own it. You know what? I know I shouldn't have used that word. I love you. Forgive me. I'm going to take a time out. Just watch. We don't want to demean our children. Take a deep breath. Take a walk. Maybe take a good shower or bath. But whatever it is, please try to go back and make it right. And humble yourself. You do not want built up resentment, because you'll see it come out. They just won't listen to you once they reach a point. And you want to teach. You want to teach. You want to have them feel love. They know you love them, but they need to really feel it at this particular age. And let me just tell you, if they don't, teens, if they don't feel it like it's safe, they feel good about themselves because you're giving them praise and you're telling them how great they are, there's more of a chance that they will move toward someone else in their age bracket to get it. Someone to tell them that you are awesome. And that might not even be a great person in their ear telling them that. So you're the one that's going to build up your team. You're going to be the first person that's giving them all this love, because what you don't want is for them to seek it someplace else where someone is going to take advantage of them, because they will see how vulnerable they are or how needy. They're just so needy for attention and affection. You're going to say, not my teen. In her kid, she has all this, like a covering, because some stuff's going to get in regardless, but you're going to give him like a fight, a big old fight. So no demeaning. We're not going to be cussing out our kids. We're going to say an I statement. I need for you to respect me. I'm your mom. I feel, I think, not you. You need to respect me, girl, because I am your mother. I brought you. I could take you out. No, going to do that. All right. And that whole, boundaries. I love this one. Okay. The boundaries. If we don't have some boundaries, our teens are going to do something. And then when they do it, we're going to be like, what the heck wasn't said? this is like an example of a teen mom drops off the kid to a movie theater and she says, okay, fine, call me when you're done. I'll pick you up. Call me when you're done. I'll pick you up at the theater. So what happens is the boys, they didn't like the movie. So they left. They did their own thing. But then they went back to the movie theater because they knew it would be over at 10 o'clock. So they went back. But the mom just happened to go there a little earlier. So she saw her son and the boys walking back to the movie theater. And she gets upset. But her son said, well, like, what's the problem? To be here at 10 o'clock? Well, shoot, I'm here at 10 o'clock. But she didn't make it very, very precise. Like, I'm dropping you here for the movie. Do not leave this place. It wasn't very clear. You have to be very, very clear with your teens and set up boundaries. If you have a teen and maybe a boundary is right now because they're like too young to be having their door closed, or maybe you caught them vaping. And so you and the teen had a talk and you said, because you've been vaping, that door, it can't be closed. Got to have it has to be open a little bit. Well, you all discussed that. Well, maybe a little bit to him and you are different. He decides to close it just to the point where it's like not locked. Well, maybe your boundary wasn't clear enough. You have to be crystal clear with teens, because if not, it causes conflict. It just causes conflict. And again, that's not your aim. You already have it difficult enough. And if you don't have it difficult right now, I'm like, what? But I just would like to say, no one expected COVID ever. Everybody's life is just going so well. We're working. We even love the commute, everything. All of a sudden, it's like shut down. But hopefully some of us had maybe that skill of resiliency. Somebody told us about it and we like grit, resiliency. So if things are really going well, I'm saying like, woo. But just have the strategies like kind of like on hold maybe. You don't need all of them right now. But you just want to like have them when you're going to need them. All right. So under the love umbrella, we want to love and just love with no conditions. Just regardless. You go to college, you are the one. You're like a Stanford bound. All of a sudden, you don't even do well on the ACT, SAT, whatever it's called now. You're going to go to what? A junior college? That's not in our family line. We got to tell our friends now that kid is not going to a UC, something, STEM, whatever. That's unconditional love. You might be like, I don't know what I'm going to tell my friends. My family, don't matter. That's some serious, I love you. Regardless. A junior college? So we're going to unconditional love. We're going to really watch how we communicate. We're going to be active listeners. We're going to use I statements. We're going to have like a little family meeting when things aren't really going well. And we're going to already accept the fact that the parents might be the only people talking, because the teens will be like, But you do it again. And then you let them put something on the agenda. It's not going to always go smooth the first time. And you're going to stay calm. You might slip into that is really not appropriate, but you're going to own it. And you're modeling for your team. You're going to own it, and you're going to apologize, and you're going to give some emotions, and you're going to just keep it moving. and you're going to do your boundaries. All right. So that was one big chunk in like a toolkit. All right. Family. Like, what's going on in the house? A lot of learning takes place in the home when it comes to really helping our teens succeed and do well. And a lot of that comes from how parents, how we as parents, like kind of respond to our teens. Just like, picking our battles. Okay. How we like talk, how we're communicating or talk with them. Like what's going on when we're talking to them. In the home, they're coming home and they have a mind. Oh my goodness. Respecting their point of view. All of this is happening in the house. This is where it takes place. Sometimes we say, oh, got that at the well, if there's cussing in the house, they're going to be cussing at school. If there's fighting and just really, really aggressive behavior in the home, people driving down the highway, they're giving the finger and just, or the parents are passive aggressive or aggressive in the home. A lot of that could travel with them. So sometimes we want to say it's those people over there. It's their children. It could be. But what I want us to do tonight is reflect on what we do with our teens, because we can't change that, but we can have a very, 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 very strong hold on what we do with our teens in our home. And then we're hoping that all of that is like a transferable skill or skills when they kind of go out in the environment. It's like preparing them for life. You're practicing in here. You're practicing. They're going to be loving. They're going to listen to other people's point of view. They're not going to be interrupting the teacher when she's teaching. They're not going to interrupt when other students are doing a project. You're doing all of that home. So when they leave, they're strong. They feel good. They don't need anybody else to say, you're very smart. No, I know I'm smart. My mom, she's hugging me, whatever. I know I'm smart. They don't have to go to school and be reaffirmed by other people. Nope, not your teens. So respecting their point of view and like what's their role other than stacking the dishes, other than cleaning that bathtub? Like what is your teen's role? They're beautiful, they're smart, they're growing. And they're like mini you, and then mini you for dad. Those are your treasures. So what are we doing in the home? Let's find out. How many things we got 4 big old, like encompassing thoughts in our home. So let's see what they are. Number 1, I love the purple. I love the purple and that pinkish. I'm going to need you to think about choosing your battles. Teenagers, you got to let go. It's small stuff. It's just not important in life. And I only put the hair color because they come up with some creative ways of just coloring and cutting their hair. And you're like, oh, you'd be like, that your beautiful hair, or chop, 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 chop. You cut, oh, you cut your go. Let it go. All that beautiful hair, let it go. It's just, I'm hoping you don't think it's that important. Because they kind of have their own way of doing things. They might come home with a piercing. Hopefully not like a bunch. You know, with the piercing, you might have a talk and say that stuff can be rather, but having a battle like, you're going to take them out? We don't do that in this house. We choose your battles, because you're going to have some things that are totally going to be unacceptable. And kids are just vaping and smoking. So they're just vaping and smoking either in your house or at school. For those of you where they're not, thumbs up. But they're doing stuff that's serious. And that might be where you want to hold your power. You don't really have it. Then you can have a discussion and talk and, you know, try to get some things understood and negotiate and compromise. Two big words in that little toolbox. You can't dictate. You cannot dictate. With teens come those two words. I'm going to compromise. Yes. And I'm going to negotiate. And we're going to actually try to sit in a real nice place in the home. And we're going to talk about some things. And it's not just what you want. Even when it comes to discipline, you can't dictate, because you don't want resentment. You want, that's what you want. So it could be the hair, it could be whatever with the hair. Maybe you just want to talk about it. But you can't just say, go in the bathroom and they'll come back home with 3 tones of color. So I want you to negotiate, and then we're going to compromise. And I just would like for you to choose which battle you're going to fight and tackle. And Covey, he talks about leadership. He talks about like win. If you're in a situation with your team and it's like you win and then they lose, all bad. You want to really work toward win. Not dictating, because you are the adult and you pay all the bills and the mortgage. And if they don't do A, they're not going to go on the summer trip. That's not very effective in the long haul. Okay. So I'd like for you to choose your battles and see where that goes. And I need a discussion with the team. It'll be much more helpful. All right. So we're going to choose our battle. Oh, I love this one because it's really difficult. Please talk to your teen about something that's not about school. They get in the car. What's your homework? Show me. What is your homework? They don't even have a minute to catch their breath. And if they try to even zone out and take a quick little, what is your homework? And especially if they're like they have AP classes and they're like at the 4.3 grade GPA, whoa, relax. They could take a 2-minute nap in the car. It's not even it might be, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. What's your homework? What's your homework? Soccer practice, basketball practice. You got your cleats. Slow it down. Something maybe other. I don't know, maybe that's just your car routine, but somehow, someplace, kind of talk to them about something that doesn't involve school. I'm sure there's something else. A friend of mine, it was The Walking Dead. She said she hated that show. She hated it. But she knew if she brought up The Walking Dead, her daughter was on it. What? And if she watched one of the shows, like maybe twice a month, because she just couldn't deal with it, that was the best thing for her daughter. And they had like a rocky little relationship, but The Walking Dead was it. Because the only thing else the mom talked about to the daughter was school, attendance. That's the thing they talked about. That was it. So I'm asking you to find an area that you can discuss with your team that has absolutely nothing to do with school. And it may take a minute for you to find out what that is. And like I said previously, when they start to talk to you and share, do not make it about you. Nobody wants to know what you did when you were in high school, because you probably shared that story 5 times before. We forget. So I'm asking you not to do that. To find something that it's really funny when we share these stories over and over, and our kids know, and they just listen. They don't even say anything negative to us. That's how much they love us. All right. So we're going to talk about other things. By school. Oh, I love this one too. Watch this one. Points of view. This one, I'll give you an example. Someone told me that the daughter would come home every day, and they would talk, but her political affiliation was different than the mother. Totally. It's like having a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, and then someone else all living in the same house. But every time the daughter tried to express her point of view, the mom would slap her down. I can't believe you believe in that. Don't you know he's a rule? Don't you know he's a Messiah? So I was like, honey, I says, it's okay. She is thinking. Let her say her thing. And then you ask wow, so you really think? No judgment. And her points as to why she preferred this other person politically, they were sound to me. And I was nowhere where she was. But I told her mom, and she says, we're always fighting. We're always fighting, Roxanne. You're fighting just to talk. So she tried it. Be quiet, validate, nod, summarize, paraphrase. And she said it worked. She and her daughter didn't have a fight just because her daughter had a different point of view. Respect what they have to say, validate, even if it's so I cannot believe that. I just can't believe. It's okay. They're thinking on their own. So just respect their point of view. And they're being critical thinkers, but they don't have to think like you. They don't have to worship like you. They don't have to do anything like you. Give them that independence to think. Yeah. And her daughter got a little better because they weren't fighting. She was totally different than her mom's thinking. So let them do what they do. Points of view. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Bigger role, parents. We're not just going to have our kids like clean the bathroom. They're not just going to load the dishwasher. They need a role in the family, like something important in whatever that might be, not just like a chore. So each family is different, but find something that your teen can do. That's like really, really important. I don't know what it is, but it's your home and it should go beyond doing chores. They're, they could do more than just do a chore. So think about that, because that's really important for them. I mean, if they drive, let them take the car and actually go fill it up. And maybe you say, hey, babe, stop by the store, get us some popcorn for the movie. Not bad. You gonna give me the keys? I trust you. The sun is still out. You're good. Hurry up. Be careful. You gotta, something like that. Bigger role in our family. Well, I was able to cover 2 of our big kits, but I think our time is there. So I'm not sure how this works out. The next one, I'll just go to it and show you. That's not what I wanted to do. So, she did it for me.
Yeah. Are there any questions for Dr. Brown before we tie things up? Let's see. Just seeing a lot of nice compliments.
This is cool.
Yeah. No, well, thank you, Dr. Brown, so much for.
I haven't done it in this format where I don't see parents and whatnot, but this is okay. This is good. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. It was a lovely presentation, lots of great information. COPE is going to be back on October 18th, doing a presentation about recognizing depression and anxiety in your teen and in yourself. And also COPE is going to be back on November 15th to do another presentation about connecting with your teen.
Excellent.
So a lot of great stuff to
Thank
come
you.
from a wonderful nonprofit. Thank you so much, Dr. Brown. Everybody have a lovely night.
All right. Thank you. Good night.